What is the best gift you could give your child? It might surprise you, but it could be something to do with your child's name. Today we have a great guest called Jesse Kalsi, who is a world-renowned numerologist. He has been doing it for over 20 years, and he specializes in AstroNumerology, which has to do with the planets, and how all of this numerology actually impacts our residential and business success, and all of the things that go along with having sort of good vibrations and how numbers affect things. He has blended his Eastern upbringing with his Western experience. He is located in the Bay Area of California, and he is an advisor to many businesses, entertainment executives, as well as communication companies. So enjoy the show today. It's very interesting, and it's probably something you haven't heard about or thought about, but it will make you rethink some things that you think about with your luck and numbers and your bank account and your birthday and all those things. So enjoy the show. Welcome to the Teaching Your Toddler interview podcast, where we feature experts, authors, personalities, and entrepreneurs to help with everything related to parenting. Find out about us at teachingyourtoddler.com and enjoy the show. This is Mary Jo Tinlin from Teaching Your Toddler, and today we have a very special guest. We have Jesse Kalsi to talk to us about numerology and lucky numbers. I can't wait to hear about this. So, Jesse, please tell us a little bit about yourself and about how you got into this subject.
Yeah, so Mary, I've been here for many years in the United States, and so when I came to this country, like most people, you have a share of struggles, but I was into numbers when I came here, really, and neither was any member of my family. It's not a tradition at all. But my life circumstances and a little basic stuff that I knew when I came here started growing, over time, and I guess the universe wanted me to do more of this, so I was led on this path, and then over time, I used it first to get myself out of a lot of stuff, and then people just kept coming, from where I don't know, and just talking to them, consulting with them over the years. It's been more than 20 years now. So I feel that, honestly, I tell you that I feel that my clients have taught me a lot. I've learned from them. You know how it is. Everyone has a new story, a new challenge, a new situation, and then how do you apply numbers to kind of, improve their lives is what happens. So, and then with time, those books came. My first book, all about the power of home numbers, was more because of my business as a real estate broker. And then the second was all about numbers again, was more application of numerology with the people I met, right? So I just kept flowing, it's just karmic.
So how do you learn
nothing,
about that? Are you self-taught? Is there resources? Did you have a mentor?
No mentor, no mentor, no resources either. It's just some basic knowledge here and there, but I've learned by applying it myself. Application. It's all about application. You see now numerology, Mary, has many schools. It's there's a tradition here in the West. We just add numbers across. There's something with the Chinese. They use a certain system. The Hebrews have something. The Greeks have the Pythagorean. So there are many different perspectives of looking at numerology, right? But what I practice is the Vedic tradition, which is we use the Chaldean code, right? And in the Chaldean code, we have letters associated with numbers. We go from number 1 to number 8 only. See, the Pythagorean is 1 to 9, but this one is 1 to 8 only, right? And this one I find more accurate now. With over the years, I've researched it so much. And, I would constantly keep applying it to, events on a daily basis. It's like hot topics every single day. You're going to see what, how it is. You put that framework there and see what's happening. So I found that way more accurate. And I've used it in my life as well. So I can vouch for its credibility.
So how do you test that? Like you said, you tested sort of the accuracy. How do you sort of verify that?
So what happens is, it's very simple. You consult somebody, and I've had clients over the years, who got stuck with properties, who bought the wrong properties, who that is real estate only, got into wrong relationships, just general struggle in life, right? And then whoever consulted with me, I just give them my angle and numbers and how it works. So what happens is the basic requirement is your date of birth. That's our birth print, right? It all starts from there. So once we have the date of birth, and then from there, I can pick up the best vibrations very quickly. See, I'll give you my example. I'm April the 3rd of some year, and my best numbers are number 3 and number 9. Those are my best numbers. So what I have done is I have, fine-tuned my energy around those numbers, 3 and 9, which is only for me actually, or so see if you see my name, Jesse Kalsi, coaches number 9, or my book all about numbers, or the first one. I mean, they're all balanced on numerology. The place where I live has a number which is flows with my basic, just like that. The car that I drive a white car, prefer it because more Mars is kind of happy with the color Venus, which is lighter, so things like that. So balance things out, right? And then at a certain times in a year, time period, right? Like right now, see the summer season is not is not a very high vibe, right? You know how it is. But then as you slowly get into autumn, that's for me, right? More beginning, more spring and fall kind of picks up every time. So the point is that we are not lucky every day, right? You know how it is. Even if you adjust our numbers and all, right? Don't say, oh, every day you're gonna be lucky. No, you'll not be. But your vibration is going to shift, your grasp is going to be bigger and better, right? And you'll definitely feel more successful than most people, who are still struggling. So I mean, besides this angle of numerology, right now, I've also researched chakras, which are also very powerful. And I wonder if you know that a human body kind of vibrates about 6 to 7 joules is what there's 7 joules, which is the highest, maybe. If someone's at that frequency, maybe he'd be a some spiritual being, or maybe head of a state or something like that, right? But most people are kind of at a low frequency, they're like 2 or 3 joules, right? So that's why
Hmm.
we're all struggling, right? And what is happening is, and it's all in the lower chakras,
Mm-hmm.
the first, second, third chakras of most humans is not flowing well. And that is the reason why there's, poverty and struggle and, you know, you know, instability, you have to see people around, yeah, who would want to stand on the road and ask someone unstable instability, it is that's what's happening all over the place.
Do little
So
kids
balancing
vibrate differently?
so again,
Do young kids vibrate differently than
yes,
adults?
they do. Oh, yeah, they do. Young kids, absolutely. What happens is when they step into this earth, they're like we all know, right? They have a high vibe, but new frequency, right? And then as they gradually grow, and things keep changing. So so numbers. I mean, I've had the chance of using numerology with many young baby newborn kids, and parents call me. Most of these people who come from the southern part of India, they're very into spirituality. They're very into religion and all that. So it is very important that a newborn has to have the right name vibration. I think that's the best gift that a parent can give a child, to have the name vibrate with their date of birth, right? It starts from right then, and it's very, very important. And I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Um, and so besides the children, I mean, this can apply to businesses too. What kind of business and the numbers. So this is kind of it's applied across the board, right? And yes, by famous people, by regular people, by celebrities. I have so
Mm-hmm.
many celebs, good friends of mine. We've, they ask me for numbers and all that. So anyway, I'm just blessed that way.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic. So,
yeah.
yeah, I actually read that there are people that will pay up to $10,000 to make sure that their numerology for their child is good.
Uh,
What is that all about?
that's what it says. The same vibration is matching your numbers, right? So now, so let's go back. So then I'll just ask you one question. So I give you mine. So what day and month are you born? Just the day and the month.
Mm-hmm. October 22nd.
Okay, so she's October 22nd. She's almost stepping into Scorpio, right? So sun. So what happens is the energy of sun, right? Which means that your see. So yeah. So there's sun and there's Neptune. So ones and sevens, right, are very strong numbers for you.
Hmm.
I mean, what that means is, so I mean, you understand people very well too. You were, and go with your first guess is always correct, and your intuition is pretty good. A sun, which is the number one, has to rise on your entry door,
Hmm.
which means more a house which has more entry, the east facing home, right, with sun rising is always very good for you.
Okay.
And most people have this like a number 4 will also work for you, but won't from work most people will work for you. So it's yeah, it's like that. And then of course going deeper, it will take time to look at your name and all that. But yeah, so these things, balance the energy. See, like I go by Jesse Kalsi. So my first name and my last name is balanced to my date of birth.
Mm-hmm.
It's balanced like that. And or I mean, there's so many examples, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many examples I can give you. Many famous people, right? I've done many names for famous people in Hollywood too. We added initials in the middle and changed their vibration, and they felt the shift in a few months. They felt the shift. But newborns, absolutely. Some parents, they most people I've seen most a lot of parents lately care, they want to give their child the best life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll go into all these things and try to kind of get into the best vibration. But then see, that is one thing, right? But then the place where you live is also very important, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Say, and I'll give you one example. Say, for example, you're living in a house number which has a lot of Sun and Saturn, which is number 1 and number 8 energy. So
Mm-hmm.
this is contradicting energy. It just brings in challenges like things like cuts, injuries, accidents, family quarreling, all that stuff. Heavy energy. So if a child who's living in this house, they feel the excuse me, the wrath of Mars.
Mm-hmm.
They'll feel disturbed. They'll pick up that energy very quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
if they live there for a long time, then the possibility that even besides getting the best vibrations initially, right, they might
Mm-hmm.
stray off or won't get good grades in school and things like that. So that is also very, very important. And
So
then
now
similarly,
is
yeah,
there
go ahead.
something that you can do about that? Like if you're living there and you're figuring, oh my
Yes,
gosh,
yes.
I have this terrible energy, but then I can't move, right? Like what do you do to solve that?
Oh, yeah. So that what we do is we don't ask people to leave their houses. And there's something called as number patching. It's a technique by which we add smaller numbers to the existing number, right? And say for example, I have that number. I look at my date of birth and I say, so 108. Maybe Venus would come in better, number 6, right? So we get a small number 6 sticker and put it there, which is just to shift the energy, but not to confuse the mailman. We've done this for years. Yeah. And it's like just with this one gal I know, she does podcasts too in Los Angeles, and she's quite pretty well known in the Beverly Hills and all that, right? So she did my podcast this year only, and then so I consulted with her, and then I told her you need to wear an emerald, right? But she's trying to get a movie, right? So she's
Mm.
come in many ads and all that. This is her side hustle too, podcasting, right? So I told her, and then her husband was trying to get something too. So we patched the house with a number 3,
Hmm.
and just yesterday, she was texting me the things that are moving, right? That was so cool.
Wow.
It's like suddenly, I mean, it's very nice. You get a good feeling when someone says, hey, Jesse, things have moved now. They're moving, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's good karma, it just kind of comes around like that, right? Just comes
Mm-hmm.
around like that. And makes me feel really good.
And
The
that
home
this
sets.
also applies to your bank account.
But yes, bank account numbers are very important. But see, before you go to the bank account,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to look at the name of the bank first, right?
Okay.
The name of the bank is important. The name of the bank has to flow with your energy, that is very important. And then once the name of the bank flows with you, there's a strong possibility that you will find, because what happens earlier, I remember some years ago, they were, if you walked into a bank and told the account executive, I want to open an account and I want to look at some numbers, so they'll throw the checkbooks at you, right? But
Mm-hmm.
not anymore. So if you go to a bank now, they'll just, it's bank generated, right? So whatever comes, you'll have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So the best thing would be to find a bank which flows with your energy and then step in. I like Fridays, like today's Friday is more Venus energy, even
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. I much go Thursday, Friday to open bank accounts, that's what I normally do.
Hmm.
And Jupiter and Venus are good days for, getting into the business of money.
That's interesting. Now, so if someone's listening to this and they're like, I don't know how to find this, is this where you can like go to your books or like resources? How would someone figure it out without having a consultation with you?
Yeah. So now, what it is that, both my books, the first one is The Power of Home Numbers. That's more geared towards home numbers. And then the
Okay.
second one is all
Your
about
address.
numbers. Yeah. And the
Mm-hmm.
second one is all about numbers, which is about the general application of numerology, which I have done over the years. Now, both these books they are not how-to books.
Okay.
Right. So I suggest who is listening to this podcast, right? Do if you want a lot of knowledge, you want to gain information, right? And I'm sure you learn a lot from here, right? Because nobody knows everything. I don't know everything, and
Mm-hmm.
no one else does, right? And so if you read that book, don't expect to know everything. No, you will not. But you'll definitely gain a lot from it, right? You know how it is. You definitely go up there, but you won't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's hard to give everything out because how much can you write in a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, those books are valuable. I have people buy them. So it's all over the place now by the grace of God. It's people buy it and they like it. So I'm so grateful for that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And so if you find out, I see the notes here that if you find out like your name is unlucky, but you could maybe go for a nickname of some sort.
Yeah. So what happens is your popular name, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
popular name, which is your nickname, is very important. That's what vibrates in the universe, right? So that has to also be adjusted, right? That has to be adjusted with your date of birth. Very important. What people call you and what the universe is resonating to. Very important. and then what you sign, what's on your driver's license, what's on your bank accounts, how you sign your name, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
vibrations from money are very, very important.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I'll give you one tip, and me personally, I like the number four. I like the number 14. 1 4
Mm-hmm.
I like that number for money. I've used it for myself for many, many years. In my bank lockers, and 14. You know, um, I've had an office number that have 14, but those numbers, it typically works for about 4.5, maybe 4.5 to 5, not more, not 5, it's 4.5 years. It's like, it's like a circle, it'll go up, it'll fall down, right? So you might as well, go up and then get out, right? And not stay there for too long. So I told this one client of mine, he's Chinese, very wealthy in LA, and I told him this. So he keeps changing his homes, right? Every 4.5 years, he made a lot of money. But I've seen people overstay in homes like that,
Hmm.
and they go up and then suddenly lose everything too. So you have to understand these numbers, understand timing. But 14 is my personal number that I really like for money.
Mm-hmm.
Any
And does
others
that
too?
apply to everybody, or is that number
14 in
specific to
general would,
you?
yeah, 14 in general would work for a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
they should
Good to
try
know.
it. Yeah, they should try it. I use it all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What what is the luckiest number? Like 14 is pretty good. It sounds like. What else?
No, 14 is one number that I have used myself. I've used it many times. The reason is, see, 14, what it is it's got number 1 and number 4. You got those two numbers, Sun and Uranus. They're very compatible. They're mirror images, right? And they pretty much move things very quickly. Say 14, or even a double 7, right? If 7 comes 2 times, it's also very good, right? It's got Neptune 2 times. A 1 and 4 and 7. So this number 14 would be very good for your numbers too. See,
Okay. All
one
right.
and four, they all flow with your energy. See, your data birth flow with your energy.
That's interesting because you'd mentioned these numbers that are actually kind of like corresponding to my address. Does that, you had
Yeah.
1 and 7. I have one. My address is 15757. So
1 5.
there's double sevens in there. Is that a good thing?
Yeah. So 15757. So you got, yeah, 2 sevens is very good for you. And yeah, and then you got a very good number. Oh my God, excellent. I'm so happy. Oh, that's perfect.
Nice.
You're so lucky. And that's why I saw when I looked at you, I thought the aura is so bright, something very something very positive is standing behind her. It's okay, excellent, very good. And Mercury's communication, and that's what you're doing right now. See, podcasting, you're communicating, and then you're very intuitive and all that. Oh, very good.
Wow, I like these answers. They're so cool. I mean, it's so intriguing for people. Like, how do they sort of figure this out? And is it a feeling, or is it like, do they need to kind of reference something to figure out what are their, like if they look at their address, how would they know if it's good or
Yeah,
not?
that's what I'm saying. See, this is it's a little complicated.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't look at a number and say this. No, you won't be able to do it. I'm telling you, you might be one or two, 10% maybe, yes, but otherwise, these numbers are actually planetary energy. They're
Mm-hmm.
all
Okay.
planets, right? So that's what you look at. You don't add them. See, like give me quickly. Number 1 is Sun, or 9 is Mars, or 5 is Mercury, or 6 is. So they have association, right? So when you look at numbers, right? Like typically it's a number 8. People say, oh, 8, so lucky. 8. No, it's not lucky.
Mm-hmm.
8 is Saturn energy, right? If it doesn't work with your date of birth, it'll just block you. So I see people blindly follow number 8, and then because the Chinese says, no, it's not true at all. It's not true at all. So don't follow anybody blindly, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't work for everybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this aligns, I know, in the Indian culture that a lot of it has to do with astrology in terms of like marriages and things like that. I mean, is that part of what you're doing here too, when people are doing matchmaking and kind of putting those marriages together by their birthdays, right? Their
Yeah,
horoscope.
India has that. But I honestly, people consult with me. I'll tell you another thing. Mary, when I do numbers, I often, I often start picking up information too. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
weird, right? When I start looking at number, right, and I look at numbers, and then something else comes into my head, right? But I think I have to connect the other side very quickly, and then I'll give you my take. Whatever you ask me, I'll tell you, okay, yes, no, no. It's like that. So I've done this for a long time. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
that I have a bit of a gift from God, that I
Mm-hmm.
can look at numbers, and then I can give you my intuition on that.
Okay. All right. So it
Yeah.
is kind of important that people talk to you, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, they're most welcome to if they like. Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Do you like consultations? Is that how you like is that how this works? How does it work for
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yes, yes. Again, people consult with me all the time from all parts of the world. I have a website, which is jessekalsi.com. You can go and you can send me a request if you like to book a reading.
Oh,
And I'd be
great.
more than happy to consult with you and give you your best number, or you fine tune your energy. Why not, right?
That sounds amazing, especially like if they're having children and like trying to figure out the best birthdays or the best names for people, right? I mean, that sounds like they could get a lot out of talking to you potentially.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Absolutely. Great. Well, of course, I'll make sure that that your website is linked in the show notes for people so they'll be able to find you because this
Okay.
is fascinating and it sounds like your books are very interesting. You've already given us a ton of information about the different planets, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
sun sounds good, right? And you said Venus and I mean all the things. So
Yeah.
this is fascinating stuff.
Thank you.
Um what else do people need to know about either you or about numerology or any of these kinds of things?
Yeah, I'll just say one thing, right? People, in the business of homes and industry, right? People go and use they use many methods, right, to find out whether the business is lucky or the home is lucky, or they use this technique of feng shui, which is very prevalent from China, or
Mm-hmm.
different methods that they use, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I strongly say that besides all that, do look at the numbers as well, because the
Okay.
lower numbers are those planetary energies in the door are very powerful, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they absolutely affect your life in either way, this way or that way. So don't rush, you should be more due diligent, right? And do some research and
Mm-hmm.
try to do the
Okay.
right thing. Yeah. Mhm.
Sounds good. Well, last question before I have you tell us exactly how to find you besides the website. But my last question for you is how do you define what is lucky? What is luck in your definition?
Luck is your resonation, right? Luck is just how our life vibrates, right? Luck is basically how our life is. Is our happiness. I'll say it's our happiness quotient, right? It's life. Are you happy, right? I'm
Happiness
sure you'll be
quotient.
happy
Okay.
if you're healthy. I'm sure you're happy if you've got a few pennies with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll be happy if your children are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll be happy if your business is doing well. And, everything around you should be positive for you to be happy, right? You should be
Mm-hmm.
healthy, of course. Health is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, all these things are all luck. And you say, oh, I'm lucky, right? So
Yeah.
things are flowing around me positively. That's luck for me.
Very good. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good. Well, I really appreciate you talking to us today. This is a fascinating topic. I know people will be wanting to look you up and look at, and find out more about you. So we have Jesse Kalsi, your website. Where else can we find you?
You can find me on Google. If you go Google my name, you'll just jump right out, right? So
Okay.
best way to get hold of me. Yeah.
Perfect. 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 All right. Great. Well, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for talking to
Thank
us.
you, Marie. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me. Okay,
Mhm.
take care.
For sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been the Teaching Your Toddler podcast with Mary Jo Tinlin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll find us on our website at teachingyourtoddler.com, as well as on Facebook at Teaching Your Toddler, on Instagram, and on Twitter at Teaching Toddler. So join us again, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.